It was a rainy Wednesday afternoon when I decided to visit one of my stores. Unannounced and undercover. I own a chain of retail stores, but I rarely get the chance to see how things run on the ground. Most of my days are spent in boardrooms or on conference calls, discussing numbers, strategies, and growth plans. But something in me always felt disconnected from the actual heart of my business, the people. I had this idea to show up as just another customer, blending into the crowd. No fancy suits or name badges, just me in a hoodie, jeans, and a baseball cap. I wanted to see how my staff treated everyday customers, especially the ones who didn't look like they were there to spend a lot of money. The store was one of my mid-sized locations, nestled in a suburban shopping center. I parked my car a little further away to avoid being noticed and walked in, the glass doors sliding open with a faint whoosh. The familiar scent of fresh stock and polished floors hit me instantly. I looked around, pretending to browse the shelves. My heart was pounding, partly from nerves and partly from curiosity. I didn't know what to expect, but I wanted the truth, raw and unfiltered. It didn't take long for me to catch the attention of a staff member. She was young, probably in her early 20s, with a name tag that read Jessica. Her expression shifted the moment she saw me. It wasn't friendly or welcoming, it was guarded, almost dismissive. "Can I help you with something?" she asked, her tone flat and perfunctory. I nodded. "Yeah, I'm just looking around," I said, keeping my voice casual. She lingered for a moment, her eyes scanning me from head to toe. I could feel her judgment as if it were something tangible. I wasn't wearing anything flashy, just a plain hoodie and sneakers, but I could tell she'd already decided what kind of customer I was. "Let me know if you need anything," she said, her voice tight before walking off without another word. I watched as she turned the corner, her posture relaxing as soon as she thought I wasn't watching. A small group of employees stood near the registers, chatting and laughing. One of them glanced in my direction, nudged Jessica, and whispered something that made them both smirk. My stomach tightened. I didn't know what they'd said, but I could guess. I decided to wander deeper into the store, observing as I went. It was busy, with customers moving through the aisles, some with carts and others just browsing. I noticed how some staff members were quick to greet certain people, their smiles wide and voices cheerful. But when it came to others, customers like me, they barely offered a nod. As I browsed the electronics section, I overheard two employees talking near the stockroom door. They were speaking in low voices, but I was close enough to catch bits and pieces of their conversation. "Did you see that guy in the hoodie?" one of them said, snickering. "Yeah," the other replied. "Bet he's just here to waste time. People like that never buy anything." I froze. My heart sank, and a wave of anger and disappointment washed over me. People like that? Was this how they saw their customers? How they saw me? I took a deep breath and walked away before they noticed me. My hands were clenched into fists in my pockets. I made my way toward the front of the store, where the registers were. I had seen enough, but I wasn't ready to leave just yet. I wanted to give someone, anyone, the chance to prove me wrong. An older employee, a man named Paul, caught my eye. He was stocking shelves near the entrance, his movements deliberate and efficient. He noticed me and gave me a small nod and a warm smile. "Hey there," he said. "Let me know if you need help finding anything." His tone was genuine, without the judgment or skepticism I'd felt from the others. For a moment, I felt a flicker of hope. "Thanks," I said, returning his smile. Paul went back to his work, but I noticed how he treated everyone who walked by the same way, with respect and kindness. It was a stark contrast to what I'd experienced earlier, and it reminded me that not all my employees shared the same attitudes. I couldn't leave without addressing what I had seen and heard. I walked up to the counter, where Jessica and the others were still standing. They barely acknowledged me as I approached. "Excuse me," I said, my voice steady but firm. Jessica looked up, her expression neutral. "Yes?" I reached into my pocket and pulled out my wallet. Inside was a card with my name and title, CEO of the company. I placed it on the counter and watched as her face went pale. "Hi," I said, keeping my gaze steady. I'm the owner of this store. The silence that followed was deafening. The group of employees exchanged wide-eyed glances, their expressions a mix of shock and panic. I came here today to see how customers are treated, I continued. And what I've seen is disappointing, to say the least. Jessica opened her mouth to speak, but no words came out. There's one person here who treated me with respect, I said, glancing over at Paul. But the rest of you? You've made judgments, whispered insults, and treated customers like they don't matter. That's not the kind of business I run, and it's not the kind of behavior I tolerate. I could see the shame written all over their faces. Jessica stammered an apology, but I held up a hand to stop her. Apologies are a start, I said, but actions matter more. This isn't just about me. It's about every customer who walks through these doors. They deserve better, and from now on, they're going to get it. After the confrontation, I took a deep breath and walked to the back office with the store manager. Paul had pointed him out earlier when I asked who was in charge. His name was Mr. Leonard, and he seemed flustered when I introduced myself, clearly having caught wind of what had just unfolded at the counter. We sat down in the small, cluttered office, and I wasted no time getting to the point. Mr. Leonard, I began, what I experienced today was unacceptable. Customer service isn't just about handling transactions. It's about respect, empathy, and making every person feel valued. That's not what I saw from most of your team. He nodded quickly, apologizing profusely. I'm so sorry, sir. I'll address this immediately. I wasn't aware this was happening. I held up my hand, cutting him off gently. I'm not here to hear excuses. I'm here to talk about solutions. You have some good people on your team. Paul, for example. He was the only one who made me feel like I belonged here. But the others? They need to understand that how they treat customers reflects on this entire company, and ultimately, on me. We spent the next hour crafting a plan. I told him I wanted every single employee to go through customer service retraining, with a specific focus on unconscious bias and professionalism. I also insisted on setting up regular mystery shopper evaluations to ensure the staff stayed consistent in their behavior. I'll cover the costs of the training, I said, leaning forward, but I expect results. If anyone can't meet the standards, they don't belong here. This store, and every store in my chain, needs to be a place where every customer feels respected, no matter who they are or what they're wearing. When I walked out of the office, I spotted Paul near the register, helping an older woman who was struggling to carry her bags. He smiled warmly at her, offering to walk her to her car. Watching him work reminded me of why people like him were the backbone of this company. I waited until he came back inside and approached him. Paul, I said, I just wanted to thank you. You treated me, and every customer I saw you interact with kindness and professionalism. That's exactly what I want to see in all of my stores. He looked surprised but grateful. Thank you, sir. I just try to do my job the right way. Well, I said, smiling, you're doing it better than most, and people notice that. I'm going to make sure you're recognized for it. His eyes lit up, and he thanked me again, but the moment wasn't about recognition alone. It was about showing him and the rest of the team that good work doesn't go unnoticed. Before leaving, I gathered the entire staff together for an impromptu meeting. I didn't want to wait for the manager to relay my message secondhand. I wanted them to hear it from me. Standing in front of the small group, I said, I came here today to see how things are running on the ground, and what I saw was disappointing. But I also saw potential. This isn't about blaming anyone. It's about doing better. From this moment forward, things will change. Every customer who walks through these doors deserves respect, no matter who they are. If that's not something you're willing to do, then this isn't the place for you. I could see the discomfort on some faces, but I also saw determination on others. That gave me hope. Over the next few weeks, I followed up with Mr. Leonard regularly, checking on the progress of the training and the changes we'd implemented. I even visited a few other stores undercover to ensure the lessons were being applied across the board. Slowly but surely, I began to see a shift, not just in the way customers were treated, but in the way employees treated each other. And Paul? He didn't just get a formal recognition, he got a promotion. I made him the lead trainer for customer service across the region, knowing his example could inspire others to do better. Walking out of that store for the last time, I felt a sense of pride. The experience had been painful, yes, but it had also been a wake-up call. My business wasn't just about profits or expansion, it was about people. And as long as I was in charge, I would never let anyone forget that.